World leaders are gathering in New York for the 79th session of the UN General Assembly amid growing global tensions with conflicts in Sudan, Ukraine and the Middle East. Among those due to speak is President Zelensky, who is on a week-long trip to the US, where he's expected to unveil his victory plan to defeat Russia. He is also due to meet President Biden, who'll make his last speech to the UN later on Tuesday. Here's our diplomatic correspondent, James Landau.
The United Nations General Assembly, home to the largest annual gathering of global leaders, the stage from where today they'll discuss the conflicts and crises afflicting the world. And one of the most important is this man's efforts to defend Ukraine from Russian aggression.
I invite all leaders, nations to continue supporting our joint efforts for a just and peaceful future. Putin has stolen much already, but he will never steal the world's future.
Mr. Zelensky, of course, wants more artillery shells like these being manufactured at an ammunition plant he visited in Pennsylvania. But he also wants more long-range missiles and permission to fire them directly into Russia.
Governor Shapiro, we're glad to have you.
That's why he's here in America, making the case for his so-called victory plan, a package of weapons, money and security guarantees from the West that he hopes could push Russia to the negotiating table. And for that, he needs support from allies on both sides of the Atlantic.
We need greater collective efforts to prevent and end conflict. For Britain, that means upholding Ukraine's sovereignty.
But the United Nations here is divided over Ukraine's future, and its Security Council is gridlocked by Russia's veto. So this is not the forum where peace will be found, but it's more the theatre where diplomatic positions will be staked out. UN spokesmen say they'd convene peace talks if they could, but
I think we have to be realistic about the situation in Ukraine. We don't feel or think there will be we are close to an end to the conflict, because we just see what the situation is on the ground. We're idealists, but we're also very much realists, right?
Joe Biden arrived in New York ahead of his own speech to the UN later today, his last as president, a swan song that Ukraine hopes may signal that more support is on its way. This assembly may not be as united as its name suggests, but the words uttered on this stage will have consequences. James Landau, BBC News, New York.